recently I wrote a post on Facebook, I think it was last Sunday, about the Maitreya, and how I'd only just realised that the light being, the universal golden light intelligence I witness, that transmitted the message of universal law of abundance and compassion to me in 1992, and which totally changed my entire life, is actually the Maitreya, the Messiah, you know, the Saviour, Jesus, as represented by Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, and lots of other people. And I realised that, so now I am a host to that intelligence, and in fact every human being on earth is invited to become a host to that intelligence. And the only way to become a host to that intelligence is to totally abandon the characters that have been imposed upon us by this world and its fictions. And that includes characters of office. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to abandon Jesus, but it does mean you have to abandon the fictions that your present understanding of Jesus is based on. Okay, and that is why I have been getting increasingly angry and upset and actually outraged by what's going on in the world. And it reached the point last month where I really had, I spoke to the universe and I said, look, for 25 years I've lived with this, and I've really tried, I've suffered every single oppression that you can imagine, including even having my own child turned against me, being judged as mad, because you showed yourself to me. And now I'm expected to live in this filth and actually not do anything, because the more I do, the more negativity comes at me. And really, I feel it's masochistic to carry on living, and perhaps more would be achieved if I died. People might actually have some respect and actually take note of what I said, because this world seems to only worship the dead, okay? These images are an abomination before Jah. Understand that. Because these apostles, the apostles, Jesus, is a reality in humanity. And this revelations that you're all living by in the New Testament, we know now is a complete fiction. It's a plagiarisation of the prophets of the original Testament. It was presented to us by an imposter, somebody who was pretending to be John the Apostle, Cerinthus, who was actually a misogynist, and it is clearly reflected in his revelations, misogyny, and also who worshipped, hated Jesus actually, hated human rights, worshipped Satan, made Satan king of the world in his revelations, and showed us everything that would happen in order to empower Satan. Okay? That's what Revelations shows us. God, known to me as Jah, known to Muslims as Allah, and to other faiths by different names, doesn't matter what name we give that consciousness, it's one consciousness, one golden light of universal intelligence that created the whole universe and created our planet and all the life upon it, including us. And Lucifer, the man god, he doesn't want to be like God. He wants to be above God. He wants to live by his own laws that satisfy his own fantasies and desires, and most of them are to do with his penis. And that's why whatever he does, he makes sure he has absolute control over multitudes of women and children, and that their menfolk are in abject poverty. And, you know, so I'm being told that, so I put this Facebook post up about the Maitreya, and me realising suddenly, oh gosh, I am a host now then for the Golden Light, because I've experienced that and I'm sharing it. And other people are invited to be hosts. I've not put myself above anybody. I'm not asking people to worship me. Okay, I am asking people to join me in the universal consciousness of golden light intelligence. Because you might paint your pictures in gold, but where's the intelligence behind? Where is the intelligence behind your worship? Okay, what are you worshipping? What are they worshipping? Him, apparently. And again, another oligarchical figure, supported by another oligarchical figure, placed in public offices. Again, characters of this world that they need to recognise as an imposter, an imposition. He needs to recognise that his brain has been infected with filth from birth that has told him that he's privileged because he's got loads of money, and he's also a male human being, which means that he has absolute power and rights over female human beings, because apparently our female intelligence is inferior according to his church. But according to Jah, of God of Genesis, who said, "Let us make man in our own image, both male and female, to be like us, and set them to rule the earth." You don't want that God, do you? No, no. You want your Lord God in the story of Eden, which is a fictional tale meant to educate humanity in ways of how to be like God in a conscious, psychological sense, i.e. show loyalty to those who have showed loyalty and love to you. Do not give yourself opportunity to grab power on a chance comment from a complete stranger who's never done anything for you and you barely know. And that all power gained through breaking the law is a corrupt power that will increase corruption upon corruption upon corruption. No matter how many laws it brings into being, every single one of those laws serves corruption in order to put somebody like him in power, who then you, Pope, will endorse simply by meeting with him. A self-confessed sex offender who he didn't confess by manner of apologising or expressing any remorse. Oh no, he confessed in a spirit of bragging. And you see, all these laws that men like him and your church has implemented into our human worlds are against universal law of abundance and compassion, God's law, which upholds human rights. Okay? It's as simple as that. We don't need to go into a church to get our human rights. You, as a representative of God on earth apparently, are supposed to be standing up for our human rights as Jesus requested. And, you know, you insist on wearing this cross, which again, how many times do we need to explain it? The cross represents the equinoxes that produce the circle, that support the circle of life, which gave birth to Jesus, as a representative of a true male human being. And as many other faiths have their own representatives of true male human beings, here's a representative of a true male human being. How loud did you shout and complain when he got shot? Maybe we should all wear a little golden gun around our neck to remember Martin Luther King. Maybe I might be able to get online and pay $50,000 for the bullet that killed him. Because you never know, it might have healing properties. And that's exactly what this lot was saying for centuries. Oh, a bit of the cross which Jesus died on. You know, we are not meant to be worshipping an instrument of Roman torture. Throw it away. Get with the Celtic cross, the circle of life, the 4 equinoxes that give us our seasons, that support life, that produced Jesus, an intelligent consciousness. But no, according to them, okay, The laws are whatever laws he decides. Men like him decide serve them best. We can ignore God's law. We can ignore universal law. We can ignore human rights as long as he stays in power. As long as we have another pope, another human to fill the office of pope. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, both these are as much victims as this world as the people in the worst poverty. And if they had any sense, they'd understand that what I'm saying here is as much for their benefit as anybody else's, because, you know, I wouldn't attack anybody in the sense of denigrate them because of what they've been doing in this world according to the best of what they think is right. He thinks it's right to be a racist, sexist oligarch. He thinks it's right to be a sexist, oligarchical religious leader. But, you know, he thinks that he's serving God. He thinks he's serving God. And they both are serving the same God. The God of money. Okay. Now, in the Bible it says, spare the rod and ruin the child. And the kind of religious teachings, interpretations of that his church have fostered, and all the other churches that have sprang forth since the establishment of the antiquated Roman usurpation of Christianity, have advocated the beating of women and children. But you see, Mr. Pope, you must accept, you need to accept the fact that the rod is universal law. And if you spare that law, you bring the children into ruin. Okay? Now, this is the kind of thing that makes me really, really angry. And this is the kind of thing that I get so upset about, and I've been so angry about, that actually I've spoke to the universe a month ago and saying, look, I can't live here anymore. Nobody's listening to me. I'm being judged mad, okay? And there's nothing I can do, and I cannot justify living in it because it feels masochistic. And, you know, I can't eat. I mean, during the day I have, a couple of dates or something is the most that I can eat. Because I just cannot do it. My stomach, I just can't stomach it because I'm so deeply upset. And people are telling me that I'm mad for getting so upset. You see, when I was a child, I was told I was living in poverty myself and experienced severe child abuse in a really horrible home dominated by a psychopathic, schizophrenic, alcoholic, gambling, child-abusing, woman-battering, so-called father that this world had made of the man that should have been my father. But no, instead I get this nutter. I was being told that I should feel grateful because at least I'm not starving like these African children that were regularly featured on the BBC News at the time. Just image after image, constantly pictures of starving African children. So I was being told that I should look at their suffering and use that in order to feel better myself about my own suffering and to feel glad that at least I'm not suffering as much as them. And from childhood it's been an abominable concept. It's an abominable concept to think that a child can be suffering severe, extreme child abuse, plus poverty, and even witnessing their own mother being beaten, and then that child is shown images of children suffering even worse and being told that I should feel better and happy. How dare you feel unhappy about your position? Because look, at least you're not at this level, are you? Oh my gosh. Can you understand why I get so angry? And I'd reached that point where I wanted to end my life. And I actually, this time, the last time I was absolutely dead set serious to do it, which was 25 years ago, I did have a dream of Prophet Muhammad that stopped me doing it. This time I had an inner vision of Jesus. And I broke down into tears. The love that came from that man is just incredible. And it was, no, please carry on, Debbie. Carry on doing what you're doing. I know that you feel wrong. I know you feel that you're entrenched in filth, and you know, but please endure for the sake of these children, because what you're doing is very important. These children need people like you. Please continue speaking out. So here I am. And as I say, I put a post up about the Maitreya on Facebook. And somebody had reported me to Facebook. And I got a message off Facebook before I could log in. Showed me the post about the Maitreya I'd put up and said, do I need psychiatric help? And I just couldn't stop laughing. I just thought, this from a world that's made him president. This from a world that supports all of this. Why are you here then? Because apparently I'm mad. I witnessed an event of universal golden light being intelligence who transmitted the message of universal law of abundance in compassion. But apparently I'm not the right gender. I was supposed to be a male human. Because the world doesn't accept that man is both equally male and female. That the God that created us is both equally male and female, because apparently we're only supposed to worship a male God. Well, let me tell you something, the universe is female as well, equally as male intelligence wise, okay? And the purpose of what the female intelligence does, and this is why you lot have suppressed us for century after century after century, is it empowers the real lords of this world, okay? The real lords of this world. My Lord. He's my Lord. Okay? You want to know who he is? Pause this screen and read about him. A real true Muslim. The Muslims that the world has established ISIS to deceive us away from. Because it wants people like us in the West to support their evil agendas to stamp out the real Muslims. So they show us images of their created monster versions of Islam in order to turn us against Islam. So while we're stamping out those monsters, he will be stamped out as well. Okay? He's my Lord. He's my Lord, and he would call me lady. Okay? He would call me lady. And that's what the ladies do. The lady God supports the Lord God. The Lord God protects and defends the lady God. And that's why they had to divide man from his female half. Because they know damn well that man empowered by his female half will never end up letting his own children live in filth like this. Letting his own children, robbing children. Little girls like this. Trafficked. Murdered in ritual sacrifices. Because you see, what we're all supposed to be doing is we're all supposed to be worshipping him and his gold. Because here you go. You see, shake hands with the spirit of money and enjoy a lifetime of wealth. Satan. And I had a dream when I was a child, not when I was a child, I had a dream about money. And it was not long after I'd witnessed the light being. And what it was I was with a friend, and she said, "Oh, I've been invited to this party. Will you come with me? I don't want to go on my own." So I said, "All right then, I'll come with you." And we went into this very posh looking building, and there was a beautiful spiral staircase covered in red carpet with a beautiful golden handrail reaching all the way to the top. And we walked up it, and we get to the top, and there was a man sat at a desk there, and he said, well, in order to enter, I need you to give me, you need to pay £5 each. Well, I didn't have any money, but my friend drew out two £5 notes. Now, on English money, it says, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of, and in this case, £5, which traditionally meant that you could exchange that paper note in order for £5 worth of gold. Except today, it's not even based on the gold, you know, it's just purely fictional crap. But just as she was handing those £5 notes over, I noticed that it said, where it said, I promise to pay the bearer, it said, I promise to lie for you, to kill, cheat, lie, and die, to kill, cheat, steal, and die for you. And I woke up at that point. As soon as I saw that, what it said on the money, I woke up. So I didn't go to the party. That dream was over. That dream was over. And I understood it was a very profound message, because that is exactly what this, the spirit of money and riches, Satan, does expect you to do for his money. And then they claim, their spiritual leaders are basically claiming that all the poor people have been cursed by God, that's why they're poor, because they're inferior, they're not worthy. And all the best people have been blessed by God because they've been given absolutely tons of this stuff. It's absolutely useless, really. We don't really need it. The human body contains iron and copper. It doesn't contain gold. Gold does not support life. But at the moment, life is supporting the power of gold. Okay? Because apparently, this little boy is worthless. What he's got to give to the world is incredible. But nobody's investing in him. No, no, no. We want this. Go and destroy a rainforest and see how much gold you can extract out of it. Go and blow up a mountain, see how much gold you can extract out of it. Let's use it. Let's use it to create more impoverished human beings like him and throw them away. Okay? In America, there are 45 million people, families, living in their cars, with 19 million children. There are another 25 million who haven't got a car, they're just homeless on the streets. And what's happening is, if the police come across a family living in the car and they find children in there, they remove the children and hand them over to state care. A foster carer in Britain, and it's probably the same in America, on average gets £500 per week for every child in their care. So this world can pay a stranger to look after our children because this world has driven us into abject poverty. By removing our jobs, by stealing, breaking our banks, stealing our pensions, putting us in debt because of their excesses and their madnesses. And then even remove our children and pay a stranger £500 a week to look after our child. And yet that same system cannot give that family living in a car £500 a week to live on for the whole family, which they would be able to. But there's something wrong, you see. And then when I get angry and mad about it, oh, I'm mad, me. I'm crazy. What I need to be doing is, you know, I mean, I've been so upset recently because I've been made homeless twice in the space of a year. By friends! These are my friends. And that is what has enraged me. Not actually being made homeless. I'd expect to be made homeless by the state, who I know couldn't give a toss about me. Okay? He's the man of importance to the state. A pussy grabber. A man who attacks friends' wives, sexually assaults them. Right? But when my own friends, people who called themselves my friends, they know what I'm going through. They know what I've been through. But no, I'm just mad. I'm mad because I survived child abuse. I'm mad because I live with complex PTSD. Okay? I'm mad because I witnessed the light being. But he's not mad. He hadn't even witnessed one, so what's he serving then? A set of beliefs. Okay? Because we are not meant to be kneeling before an instrument of Roman torture. The cross is symbolic of the equinoxes and the circle of life, the Celtic cross. That's the real cross. Not the crucifix, the torturous death. So who really needs psychiatric help here? You lot. But you're too proud to accept it, aren't you? Because you think you're all so up there in this world. Well, Jesus did say, whom this world exalts, Jah looks down upon. Because you are all exalted precisely because these children are not being exalted. Okay? Precisely because these children are not being exalted. That is why you're being exalted. Because these children apparently can be thrown away with the rubbish. You see, Jah law is the rod. But these people have put such a twisted version, such a fundamentally corrupted version of Christianity and the concept of Jah across. Okay. That what is happening is that children are being beaten to death. Okay, this is a couple. Girl spanked to death in the name of God. She was beaten because she mispronounced a word. They apparently rescued children from all over the world. Adopted them. This little girl was beaten to death. Her sister was hospitalised. Torturing and murdering their 7-year-old adopted daughter. Paradise, California. The couple beat Lydia for 7 consecutive hours with breaks for prayer on the day she died. The marathon torture session was allegedly sparked by the mispronunciation of a word during the Liberian-born child's homeschool lesson. We have heard the phrase death by 1,000 lashes. That's basically what this was. Lydia was beaten with, among other things, a 15-inch plumbing supply tube called a biblical rod by the Schatz. Right. That is what your misinterpretations have inflicted on the world. Children have died through being beaten to death. Women have been robbed their rights. And this is what we've got. Our lords, the true lords of humanity, our true lord, they're all one. He's one. Okay, he's another one. They're one Lord, because they're one consciousness. They support human rights. Doesn't matter what faith they are, whether they're even if they don't believe in any faith, in any religious faith. They have faith in our human rights, and that means they have faith in Jah law, and that means the golden light of universal intelligence is in that person, and they are hosts to that. So I've realised I'm a host to it because I actually witnessed the event of it, but a lot of people who are hosts to Golden Light don't know that they're a host to Golden Light because this world is telling them that you're a piece of rubbish. You see, when he's asking for funds to donate to establish our fundamental legal rights against the global corporations who are taking over our nations, oh, look, yeah. He gets attacked, oh, he's a money grabber, he's this, he's that, you know what I mean? But somebody like Trump, okay, who has got all his wealth through lies, deception, usury and abuse, he's fine. He's fine. Let's worship him. He lives in a golden tower. He must be wonderful. These people, yes, you are worth more. She's worth more, she's worth more, so she, he, and he. You're all worth a lot more than this. And that's really all this world needs to understand. And as I say, so I'm very sorry, Facebook, you know, I decided not to contact your offer of help, okay? Because if you want to offer psychiatric help to anybody, then please contact the Pope, okay? Contact Mr. Trump. Offer these two psychiatric help, please. Okay? Because I don't need it. I've had all the psychiatric help I need, thank you very much. Golden light of universal intelligence. That has explained to me that until this world addresses the needs of these children and stops worshipping this, right, if you can't do it, if none of you so-called religious people have the courage or strength to recognise the true light of golden intelligence when you see it, and you're prepared to denigrate me as a messenger because I'm in a female body and therefore I'm inferior and filthy, actually, corrupted, you know, then you are going to realise the reality of your false revelations, aren't you? But they're not false, they're telling the truth, because them revelations are a plagiarisation of a man named Cerinthus who wrote them and falsely presented them as coming from John the Apostle. And actually John the Apostle completely loathed Cerinthus and called him a deceiver of all humanity. And that man plagiarised the original testaments in order to write his revelations to promote who? Lucifer, the morning star. Read it in Revelations. That's where, by the way, you'll find the number of the beast. Well, I've got a revelation for you lot. You either get with the truth, or what is written in Revelations, your fake revelations from your fake prophet, your deceiver, will happen. And you will lose everything, including your souls. Because I'll tell you something now. Planet destroyers never get a chance to live on another planet again in this universe. So enjoy life out in the dark and cold, or at the heart of a supernova explosion that created your God. Because that's where you'll go back to. Because that's the only God you trusted in and had faith in. Now, I do have faith in humanity, but as I say, things get so bad in this world sometimes, and when you're being attacked and judged and made homeless by your own so-called friends who you've done never one thing of harm against, and that they fabricated reasons because they feel threatened by what? My inherent goodness, by my righteousness, by the fact that I'm asking them to help me stand up for children's rights. Well, the children are never going to have any rights, are they? And that's why I said to Jar, I will do my best, but I tell you now, until my lords, my true lords, read this, pause it, the tragic story, read it, okay? Until my lords, my true lord is established as a true human being, man, because, you know, every male who supports him and Ayatollah Boroujerdi, okay, they are the Lord. Collectively, they are the Lord of humanity, okay? He is my Lord. He would call me lady. That's what Lady does. Support her Lord. As he becomes ruler of our universe. Okay? Because he can be trusted to care for the children. He can be trusted to stand up for a woman's rights. Okay? And that's how you get this mass poverty. By all you've got to do is remove the women's rights. And when the children, even their own children's mother can't protect them, and the dads are all hankering after this, because they've been persuaded that they can ignore the golden light of intelligence by the satanic spirit of money. So in order he can raise himself to be on top of the world, to do what? Well, I'll tell you what they want to do. They want power and poverty to abuse these children. Millions of them are being trafficked and abused in every way imaginable, including ritually slaughtered and sacrificed. Because look, hey, you can just go down, pick that kid up out of the rubbish, can't you? Well, I'm sorry, religious leaders, you're in for a lot of trouble, conscience-wise. Yes, you will feel bad. Get strong. We're all guilty of sin. Ask forgiveness, clean yourself. Jesus asked us to go and clean ourselves in a river. He didn't ask us for any gold, right? Because no amount of gold is going to cover your spiritual crimes that you've been supporting. And it is time now to accept that he's a false god. He's a false god. And all the men who are with him, they're all one Lord. They're one being. They're one consciousness. They're united. They're united in creating this in order to sustain the power and control they have over the whole of humanity by indoctrinating people to have faith in this. And in order to get it to be like him, then you must promise to lie, cheat, steal, kill and die for the sake of your belief and faith in that. But there's nothing in it, right? There is nothing in it. But what is in this child? What could this child give to our planet if we invested that child, if we invested in that child? What is in this child's head that could change our world? What is in these children's? What is in? But you're throwing them away! Apparently, according to Bill Gates, they're useless eaters. They need to be beaten to death nearly, because they're so evil. Where is her husband? He's out there dreaming about this and all the things that he can buy with it. Flashy cars, yeah. And if he can't do it, he's depressed. Because he's worthless. Because it's not just the lack of resources that poverty creates. It's the lack of the individual self-worth, the lack of the individual self-respect. If an individual has no self-respect, no respect in this world, is denigrated and judged inferior, then how are they going to respect the children? How can they respect their wife? How can a man respect a wife who has been brought up and told she's inferior and actually filthy and even God doesn't like her? So, please help. That's the message. Help. It's a simple message, isn't it? It's not asking you to all go to church and suddenly all become really, really like religious. It's asking you to uphold universal law, uphold human rights, spend your wealth now, invest it in the children. We need every hand on this planet that is available now to clean up the corporate filth that has been created by the madmen of this world who believe in a pack of lies and who have been indoctrinated by those pack of lies, and who continue to uphold those pack of lies, because to them it gives them privileges, doesn't it? These are all privileged, aren't they, in this world? They're privileged. Look at them, all happy in the white robes. What are you doing for these children? You see, now do you understand your shame? And Jar doesn't want to see you ashamed. Jar say to you, look, the shame doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the false God consciousness that has indoctrinated you from childhood. Remove it, step out of it, become a human being. It doesn't mean that you have to leave your faith. It does mean that you've actually got to start doing something and speaking out. What can I say? Apparently, I'm mad. Like he was mad. He's the Lord. He's my Lord. He's the Lord. But I'm mad. He was mad. Ken O'Keefe is mad. Ayatollah Boroujerdi, he's mad. Really?